Today's recipe calls for guajillo chilies. We're going to be making queso birria tacos. Yeah, everybody and their grandma has made this video, but I really wanted to try these, so I thought I'd bring you along for the marathon cooking event. So with that said, let's get started.
The first thing we're going to do is de-stem and de-seed all of our chilies. We're going to start with 5 guajillo chilies first. You're going to take a pair of scissors and cut the stem off and shake out as many seed pods as you possibly can. Then you're going to take your scissors and make a slit down the side of the pepper, opening it up, making it easier to get to more seeds and to scrape out the membrane. You're going to take your thumb and scrape the membrane out, taking out the membrane and the other seeds that are inside. If you don't wear gloves for this, ensure that you wash your hands really well after this. You don't want to go itch your eye. That would really hurt. Now that you have all of your guajillo chilies de-stemmed and de-seeded, we're going to de-stem and de-seed 5 ancho chilies. We're going to use the same exact method, cutting the top off and cutting down the side to get the seeds out. These ancho chilies were a little harder to de-seed because they were a little bit flatter, so ensure that you get in there really well to get the seeds out. Now that you have all of your ancho chilies done, we're going to de-seed and de-stem 5 pasilla chilies as well. We're going to use the same exact method as we did for the other 2. There's a ton of recipes out there that call for different types of chilies, so play around to see which type of chili you like best. And you can also play around with the different amounts of chilies that you use, so you can mix and match and do so many different types of chilies if you wish. After you've cleaned all of your chilies, you're going to grab a medium-sized saucepan and throw it over medium-high heat. You're going to add all of your chilies to the pan, and we're going to toast these in a dry pan for 2 to 3 minutes to help release some of the natural oils that the chilies hold. This will make the sauce a little bit spicier. You want to keep an eye on these so they don't burn. After 2 to 3 minutes, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of black peppercorns and toast these as well. This will also help release some of the natural oils that the peppercorns hold. You're going to also toast this for another 2 to 3 minutes or until everything becomes nice and fragrant. Next, we're going to add 2 cups of beef stock. Adding the stock will help rehydrate all of the peppers, making it easier to blend to make into a sauce. You're going to turn your heat up to high and bring this to a boil. Once it hits a boil, you're going to turn your heat down to about medium and let it simmer for 15 minutes. It helps to throw a lid on it. This makes the process a lot faster and helps keep the moisture in to completely hydrate all of our peppers. Now that we have our chilies hydrating, we're going to start on our meat next. Traditional birria tacos call for goat, but we're going to stick with beef. A lot of recipes out there call for short rib or oxtails or chuck roast. I went with beef chuck roast because it's a bit cheaper than short rib and oxtail, and it has a nice combination of fat to meat ratio. You're going to cut your beef into about 2 to 3 inch squares. You're going to do a decent job of cleaning it up. You want to leave as much fat on there as possible. The more fat, the more flavor. This will make a richer, deeper flavoring consomme, and the fat that's going to be in the sauce will help fry up our tacos later. The most important part of cleaning your beef is getting rid of the silver skin. The silver skin is very tough. No matter how long you cook it for, it doesn't break down, and you definitely don't want to eat it. What you're going to do is take your boning knife and get in between the silver skin and the meat. You're going to pull the silver skin one way and run your blade the opposite way. You're going to keep your blade fairly flat, but have the blade tilted up towards the silver skin, touching it to ensure that you don't cut any of your meat. This process does take some practice, so you may accidentally cut some of your meat. It's going to be okay though. You always want to cut away from you, just in case the blade cuts loose. You won't hit any of your little fingies. You can tell what silver skin is because it's slightly shiny and silver and white in color. And I forgot to mention before that I ended up using about 3.5 to 4 pounds of beef. Now that you have all of your meat cleaned up, we're going to season it heavily with some kosher salt. You want to ensure that every piece gets coated really well with salt. This stuff will soak up a lot of the salt, so you want to ensure that it's seasoned really well. And after you get everything seasoned, we're going to let them hang out at room temperature before we sear them off. Now that all of our chilies have hydrated for the 15 minutes, we're going to take them all of it out of our pot and throw them in a blender and blend them up to make our sauce. Now that you have all of your chilies in the blender, pour in all of the liquid that they were hydrating in. This hydrating liquid holds a lot of flavor and it'll help make a smooth sauce. Now that you have all of your chilies and your liquid in your blender, blend everything together until it becomes nice and smooth. Now that we've blended it for a few minutes and everything is smooth, we're going to add all of our seasonings. We're going to start with 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground clove, 6 dried bay leaves, 2 tablespoons of Mexican oregano, and 1 Mexican cinnamon stick. Once you have everything in your blender, blend everything up again until you have a nice smooth puree. Now that you've blended all of your seasonings really well together with your chilies, this is what your puree should look like, a nice deep red color. Now that we have the sauce made, you're going to grab a large pan or a Dutch oven in my case and throw it over high heat. Heat up about 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. You want to get your oil ripping hot so that we can sear all of our meat off. Searing the meat will caramelize it and give it more of a rich flavor. We're going to work in batches here. You don't want to overcrowd your pan. Overcrowding the pan will in turn cool it down, and that's not what we're going for. We want this stuff to be ripping hot so we can get a nice crusty brown sear on our meat. You want to sear each side of your meat for about 3 to 4 minutes or until a nice brown crust forms. And this is the type of sear that we're going for, is something like this. Once all of your meat is seared off, throw it in a holding apparatus to the side to work on the next batch of meat. Now that you have all of your meat seared off, to the same pan we're going to add 1 large yellow onion that has been medium diced. We're going to saute the onion for about 3 to 4 minutes over medium heat or until our onion is nice and translucent. Go ahead and add more oil if you need to. Now that your onion is nice and translucent, we're going to add 8 garlic cloves that have been roughly chopped. We're going to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes or until our garlic becomes nice and fragrant in smell. Now that your garlic has become nice and fragrant, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. We're going to caramelize our tomato paste to release some of the natural sugars in the tomato paste and give us a deeper, richer flavor. This is the same method that we used in our Rigatoni Alla Vodka video. If you haven't seen that, you should go check it out. It's also a really great meal. Now that you've caramelized your tomato paste and it has become darker in color, we're going to deglaze our pan with about 1 cup of beef stock. Deglazing the pan like this and scraping the bottom off, getting all of that fond, will help build a richer, deeper flavor for our braising liquid. Now that you've gotten all of the fond off the bottom of your pan, start adding all of your meat to your pot. You want to ensure that you use a large enough pot that'll hold 2 quarts of beef stock. My pan is a little small, but it's a little too late now. I had to add 1 quart now, and then halfway through add the other quart. You want to ensure that your onion is on the bottom of your pan, just in case if your pan scorches, the meat will be on top of that onion, and the onion will scorch, not your meat. So throw in about half of your meat, and then throw your sauce on top, and give it a decent mix. Then throw in the rest of your meat, and if you have any meat juice left in your holding apparatus, go ahead and throw that in there as well. That holds a lot of flavor. And once you have all of your meat in there, top the rest of it off with the rest of your chili sauce. Ensure that you scrape your blender because there's a lot of good stuff in there. You don't want to miss any of it. And give it a decent stir so all of the meat is covered in your chili sauce. Now that you have all of your meat and sauce in your pan, pour in your 2 quarts of beef stock. You want to ensure that all of your meat is covered with liquid. Now that we have everything in our pot, we're going to bring everything up to a simmer. Once it hits a simmer, we're going to cover it with a lid, and we're going to braise our beef for 2 hours or until it becomes nice and tender and easily shreddable. Now that our beef is braising, we're going to make some homemade corn tortillas. I have a full video on this, so I'll leave a link in the description so you can go check it out. The only difference for this recipe is that we doubled it compared to that video. This ended up making about 30 to 35 corn tortillas, which honestly wasn't enough because we had that much meat. This corn tortilla recipe is perfect for these tacos. They're nice and pliable and easy to work with. To make these birria tacos, you can also skip this step and buy some store-bought ones, but who really wants to do that when you can make them from home and they come out so delicious? I'll give you a quick rundown of how much of each ingredient you're going to need to double the recipe. You're going to need 3 cups of instant corn masa flour, 1 tablespoon of salt, 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, and 2 cups of warm water. You're going to mix everything in a bowl and knead until it becomes nice and smooth like Play-Doh. I also found that these homemade corn tortillas soak up a bit of the sauce when we go to fry it, so it adds more flavor to each taco. So you really can't go wrong with making these yourself. And this is what your dough should look like. Something nice and smooth. And then we're going to weigh out 1 ounce portions of our corn tortilla dough. I think this is the perfect amount to make our birria tacos. You're going to follow the corn tortilla video and you're going to get perfect corn tortillas for these birria tacos. Now that your beef is nice and tender, you're going to take it off the heat and transfer over everything into a bowl so you can start shredding it. Now that you have all of your meat pulled out and set aside, you're going to save about 1.5 to 2 cups of braising liquid so that we can fry our birria tacos later on. Next, we're going to strain our braising liquid to make our consomme. So grab a strainer and another pot and pour in our braising liquid. You want to catch all the impurities so that we get a nice smooth consomme. Next, you're going to grab a ladle and move your braising liquid around inside of your strainer, lightly pushing on it to ensure that we get as much liquid out as we possibly can. Don't push too hard because you don't want to push everything through. And this is what your consomme should look like, a nice deep red-orange color. We're almost there. Next, we're going to start shredding our beef. You can use 2 forks to do this. I found that it was a lot easier just to start shredding it by hand. You can shred this any way you want, meaning you can shred into really small pieces or large pieces of meat. I went for about a medium shred, so I had a decent amount of meat in each taco. And then I found it to be smarter to take the shredded meat and throw it in another bowl. It makes it a lot easier. Then you know what you've shredded and haven't shredded yet. And you can take out any large pieces of fat if you choose to. I discarded a few large pieces of fat just because I didn't want to eat those. Now that we have everything done, we're going to start making our tacos. So dip your homemade corn tortilla in your braising liquid. This is the braising liquid that we saved earlier. So dip each side of your tortilla in the sauce and throw it in your pan. Your pan should be on about medium to high heat. We want to get a nice sear on our tacos. Then you're going to throw down a decent amount of Oaxaca cheese. Then throw on a good amount of meat as well. Then for good measure, you're going to pour over a little bit of your consomme just to ensure that your taco is nice and juicy. So once you feel like you have a nice crust on your taco, go ahead and fold it over and lightly press down on it to get a nice sear on it to make it crunchy. You don't want to press on it too hard because then it'll release too much of the juice. Cook it on each side for about 2 to 3 minutes or until a nice crusty shell starts to form. Then we'll repeat the same process, dipping a taco shell in our braising liquid on each side, adding our Oaxaca cheese and some of our meat. This is why it was important to leave most of your fat on your beef, because the fat was in the braising liquid, which will help fry our tacos in the end and it adds more flavor. So repeat the same process for the rest of your meat and your taco shells. Now that you have all of your tacos made, grab a small holding apparatus and throw in some of your consomme. This consomme is meant to dip your tacos in and it's really delicious. Then garnish with some freshly chopped cilantro and freshly chopped yellow onion. There you go. Dip it in and take a nice fat bite. Mmm, so good.
Alright, we're finally done cooking. Let's give our tacos a try. You want to ensure that you dip your taco in the consomme because it's delicious. These things were definitely worth the wait. The color on these are nice and red. The consomme is nice and rich and deep in flavor. Then the onion and cilantro add another flavor profile to it. Then they're nice and cheesy. And then you get that little bit of a crunch from when we toasted it. These things are so good. It was definitely worth the wait. I can see why everybody loves these things. Oh yeah, don't forget the lime. That acid helps cut through all the richness. Definitely worth it. These would pair really well with our margarita video that we made the other day. Or you can hit it with the classic bottled Coke. Alright, that's it for this video. This recipe took quite a bit of effort, but it was worth it. And I really don't want to waste time on this outro because I want to get back to eating these tacos. They're delicious. So if you enjoyed today's video, give it a like and also find me on Instagram at TaylorMakes92. Gotta go hit some friends up to share these tacos and maybe in exchange they'll do the dishes for me. That'd be nice. So we'll see you on the next one. Today's recipe calls for guajillo chilies. We're going to be making queso birria tacos. These things are... These tacos are time consuming, but they're totally worth it. It's really not that much work, it's just very time consuming. And I'm just rambling on and my face itches. So I'm shooting the intro for this video the day after I made these tacos, and I have to say I haven't worked this hard since I took my 5th grade PE physical education test. Even though that was a couple years ago, I'm still tired. But these tacos are definitely worth it. They're just time consuming, but in the end they're so delicious. So you should definitely give them a shot. Alright, that's it for today's video. That one was a marathon of a cooking show. Yeah, it was. Alright, that's it for today's video. Alright, that's it for this video. Alright, that's it for this video. I can... No, I don't.